Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. And this email is from a guy. He is right now early 30s. And he's reflecting back a few years ago in 2015 when he was in his late 20s about how he was with his girlfriend. And they were engaged to be married after their undergrads. And lo and behold, one day, he started noticing very suspicious behavior from her. Things didn't quite add up, didn't quite make sense. And unfortunately, one thing led to another, and he found out that she was having an affair. And to make matters worse, she was having an affair, wait for it, with her college professor. So, you're going to see in this email here, this guy's story, how he definitely gets some warranted payback, not just on her, but also on the guy that's hooking up with his fiancée. And ultimately, where things end up from there. And I'm doing this, guys, because this guy really wanted me to do this story for you guys. And also just to make you guys aware how pretty much, unfortunately, people that you're the closest to could turn on you like that. And you just never know. And just you have to pay attention to the red flags, on. But ultimately, you're going to see this guy comes out on top. And by the way, guys, you're also going to see that he, in the end, is going to reflect and question whether he took things too far. So I want you to listen to this story and then later on share in the comment section if indeed you thought he took things too far, not far enough, or it was just right. I'd like to hear your opinions on that. So jumping into it, he starts off saying, "Good day, SSM. I've been wanting to share my story with you for a while with the hopes it gives your subscribers the insight and knowledge of how to deal with or how not to deal with this kind of problem. I wanted to get this off my chest for a long while now, and typing this was therapeutic. This one still hurts to type about, so forgive me if I have any mistakes. In 2015, I was 27 years old at the time, and I was engaged to my girl Leslie, and she was 27 as well. We were childhood friends and knew each other since we were 9 years old. Our families were close, and our parents were elated when we announced that we were engaged once we finished our undergraduate degrees. Undergraduate degrees, and you were already engaged, so you were probably like at earliest 22, latest 23, so 22, 23. Way too early. Wait a while. If you're going to do marriage, which I certainly don't push people on, especially how things are today, but if you're going to do it anyway, at least wait. Late 20s, 30 years old. Get some life experience, save some money, get somewhere in your career, all that. Really, really get to know who she is before you make that leap." He says, "She and I have been through so much together. Loving moments, hardships, joyous victories, unbearable losses, and even the death of her mother. She was there for me, and I was there for her. Like all couples, we had arguments here and there, but nothing to ever make me think that she would ever leave me or betray me. Oh, how I was wrong. During her final stretch for her master's degree, she decided to partner up with her professor that she idolized. Let's call him SOB. A 45-year-old male. She would always clamor about him and say how great and smart he was." Guys, when women start talking about other dudes, pay attention to that. A lot of times when they're not happy about the situation, the state of the relationship, who the hell knows what it is, they mention other guys. And that's a way of communicating, hey, this guy is going to be your replacement if you don't start getting your act together, whatever that may be, warranted or not warranted, okay? And 45 years old, at first I thought it was normal. He was her idol, and of course she would be super excited to pick his mind, but soon she started to fully focus on him and barely pay attention to me. Aha, pay attention to the red flags. I raised this issue to her, but she reassured me that she was just busy with her final paper and she'll make it up to me once it was all over. This put me at ease for a while, but I was still suspicious. Always trust your gut, guys. Your gut is your truth. It's your superpower. It's your sixth sense. If your gut is saying something isn't right, listen to it. Investigate. Check things around. So let's see here. So I logged into her school email to double check, and what I found shattered me to the core. I saw nude photos, videos, sexting, and everything else you'd find there. In her email, and the fact that he knows her email and password, and she has it in there, that's crazy. Here we go with the sirens again. She even told him that she was madly in love with him, wanted to be with him, how I couldn't compare to him, how she would run away with him, but couldn't because she doesn't want to destroy his family. Without thinking, I immediately left for my office without taking any evidence. Oh my God, that sucks. Can you imagine this guy? He's known her since they were 9 years old. He's in his late 20s, engaged to be married, obviously in love with her, and he stumbles upon this, right? His gut was right. His gut told him something was wrong, and he eventually started to trust his gut and did a little investigating, and look what he found. And the dumbass has actually kept the stuff on the school drive. You got to be kidding me. I sulked for a while. I sulked for my whole shift, but then I realized that if I had broken off from her, I might lose my career prospects, as her father was the one who got me into my firm in the first place and could easily get me terminated. Instead of sulking and feeling sorry for myself, I started to fixate on a way to get back at her, to ruin everything for her, while at the same time getting myself out of the situation. Good. Instead of being emotional and flying off the handle, he realized, I better be cool here because this could jeopardize my job, and this is a crucial time in my life for me to get my foot in the world. So, calm down, prepared his plan of action just to make sure all bases were covered, didn't jeopardize his job. And watch what you see how he handles the situation. He said, I tried to think of a couple ways to expose them without all of it getting back to me. Then I realized that Leslie and SOB were dumb. They were dumb enough to save their escapades in the school's cloud drive. I believe it was a OneDrive or something. Wow, talk about stupid. SOB's wife was in a senior position at Leslie's university. So I had a plan to anonymously tip SOB's wife to check his cloud drive and hope for the best. Oh boy. His wife works at the same university. It was hard to sit and wait and pretend to still be in love with Leslie. She repulsed me at this point, but at the same time, I couldn't bring myself to hate this person that I've known basically my whole life. My backup plan was just to take the loss and ghost her. But after a few weeks passed, but I got a call from SOB's wife. I thought the jig was up until she started asking me if I was Leslie's emergency contact. I played dumb and answered all her questions, and when she realized I was Leslie's fiancée, she started to tell me about their affair. He laid the trap well, and she reached out to him, and he played dumb to let her do the storytelling. Even though I knew it was all true, I still asked for her proof, to which she sent me a couple of the videos and pictures. I pretended that I was shocked by all this, and I even agreed to testify on her behalf if they ever got into a legal battle. She thanked me and then hung up. Oh boy. Imagine that guy when he got home with the evidence that his wife laid out in front of him. This was it. I had everything I needed to make my exit, but I was still hurting and I wanted to hurt her even more. To this day, I still question if what I did was right or not, but at the time, I was an emotional wreck. Dude, your whole life's been turned upside down. This is the woman you're going to marry and all that, everything you've been through. So you got an excuse to be a bit emotional. And if you reacted and did some things now that you're looking back and questioning, remember how you were at the time. And at the end of the day, it was her actions that did this, not yours. Okay? She was in the wrong. And so what happens. And wait till you see what happens. I told Leslie's father about her affair. I started off by saying I'm ending the engagement, and when he asked why and how I could do this to his daughter, I showed him the videos and pictures. Imagine that. I felt horrible for him as he started to have a breakdown right in front of me. He told me that he was sorry and that he respected my decision, but I needed to get out of his house and never return. I took my things from my shared apartment with Leslie while she was still out and left without another word. No closure, no anything. I left my ring on the table and stayed with a friend who lived near my workplace. Well, you know what, dude? That took a lot of balls to go up and look the father straight in the eye and saying, I'm ending the marriage, and here's why. Now, obviously, he's probably reflecting like, should I have really shown the pictures and the videos? I wouldn't have done that. I simply would have told the guy that I'm ending it. I would have looked him straight in the eye and been a man about it. And then if he asked the reasons why, I would have told him, obviously, and only if he wanted the pictures and videos, which then, upon his request, I wouldn't just volunteer that. But what's done is done, and I'm looking at this from the perspective of a dude who's in his, 43 years old, because let's be honest here, no father wants to see that of his daughter. I mean, just hearing the story is enough. Of course, if he asked for the actual evidence, I'd be like, well, okay, you asked for it, here you go. But don't feel bad about it. It turns out I wasn't fired from the job, but that was the only good thing that came out of this. The fallout from this whole mess was insane. Mutual friends told me that Leslie's life took a drastic change. She outright failed her final paper and needed to transfer to a new university due to multiple violations of conduct. Her father cut her out of his life, and when she found out that I had left her, she went to my parents' house, which was a 3-hour drive, to hysterically scream and cry on their front door. Well, that probably reinforced his parents' idea, like, well, she's not the one, and she's going this hysterical crazy on the front door. But you know what? She made her bed, now she has to lie in it. Okay? Oh, boo-hoo. And I'm not being insulting to the guy who sent me this, but boo-hoo to her. She was hooking up with the freaking professor, lying about it, all that, and obviously didn't work out very well. And she did break codes of conduct, so she got what she deserved. And as for the father, I think she had to know the kind of guy her father was, and what could happen. It's interesting, guys, when I do these types of stories, because when these situations come up, the father, when it comes to like these cheating girlfriends or fiancés or wives, a lot of times when you hear about the in-laws, it's usually the fathers that will apologize to the guy, and they'll feel bad for them for their daughter's actions. But it's usually the mothers, the mother-in-laws, or the future mother-in-laws that end up trying to twist things around and make the guy to be the bad guy. That's been my observation through a lot of stories I've gone over ever since I started this channel a year and a half ago. Anyway, he says, Leslie tried to contact me, but I quickly changed my phone plan and provider as soon as I could and told all my friends not to disclose my location. She even came to my office, but my supervisor had told the security staff to say that she was in the wrong building. I felt terrible for what I did. I know she betrayed me, but I went from the nuclear option on her life until now I'm seeing its effects. I did my best to move on and focus on my career while carrying this heavy feeling in my chest. Dude, you were with her for all those years and you're going to be married, so it's understandable you had that heavy feeling in your chest that would last for years. You wouldn't just get over that overnight. And of course, you're going to have the emotions of like a roller coaster where sometimes you question your actions, question that you were too harsh, too tough, wonder, all sorts of things. Everybody here has been through breakups. At least I'm saying most people watching has been through breakups. It happens. Cut to 2018. I'm doing better. I'm making a very good living. I have a new girlfriend. And somehow, Leslie gets my number asking to catch up. No thanks. I didn't want to do it at first, but it was clear that I needed closure, so with the recommendation of my therapist and girlfriend, I agreed to meet up with Lucy. Well, I wouldn't have done that. But I'm older, I've lived a lot longer, I've experienced much more. I wouldn't have done that because you don't know the crap that could be rekindled and all that. But at the end of the day, if he needed this and felt that would be fine, okay. Now wait to see what happens here. He says, I met Leslie at a park near our old hometown. She still looked good, but I could tell the past few years have not been very kind to her. Translation, she got fat. We caught up. She apologized for cheating on me. I didn't forgive her just yet, but instead I confronted her about her comments from years ago as they were etched into my mind, and all she could do was weep and say that she was young and stupid during that time, and she even said, I felt so lost and alone after you left me. Well, of course he was going to leave her. He had every right to leave her. Doing the professor, all that, pictures, videos, and this guy had actually, unfortunately, if he didn't see it, he wouldn't have known. Well, maybe he would have found out eventually, but seriously. And I have to question, if she didn't get caught then, would she eventually left him for the professor? Think about that. I wanted to walk out of that meeting right at that moment, but I stayed to hear her reasoning for cheating. Her reasoning for cheating. Remember the whole accountability thing? It's not my fault. Don't blame me for the cheating. It was other things. Apparently, SOB, the professor, said all the right things, and tricked her into believing that she had a life with him. But as soon as everything went public, he dropped her to reconcile with his wife. She never got to speak with her father once he found out, and unfortunately he passed before they could mend their relationship. That's too bad about the dad, it really is, but I'm sure she knew the kind of man her father was, and what happened if he found out about this. And as for the professor, blaming it all on him because he was charming her and tricking her into believing, at the time she was in her mid-20s. And let me tell you, a girl by the time she's in her mid-20s has had enough life experience to know darn well these stupid lines and this crap you see in a romance movie, rom-coms, and romance novels is what it is, a bunch of crap. She knew what she was doing. You make your bed and you lie in it. Stop blaming other people for your mistakes. Be a freaking adult. Blaming the professor for her actions. He says, Leslie said she doesn't have anyone left and was hoping that we could remain in touch as she feels like I'm the only family she has left. Pfft, fat chance, honey. I told her I was sorry, but I couldn't due to all the pain she had caused me, and I left without saying another word. You had every right to do that, man. Don't feel bad. My life is good now. I married my girlfriend. Be careful, brother. Remember those red flags. Pay attention to them. I'm hoping that she's the coolest girlfriend and now wife ever, and you'll never ever experience the crap you went through. I truly hope that. I truly hope that for you. But just be careful. And I hope you have a prenup. And we are expecting soon. My job didn't take a significant hit with the global situation, and I'm physically fit. But I still think about the damage that I caused Leslie. I know it was her fault for cheating, but I systematically dismantled important pieces of her life and got away with it, no consequences. Dude, you revealed to the family of the professor who was doing your girl what happened. The wife had every right to know. And she was old enough to know that what her actions could have consequences. And she learned the hard way, okay? The only thing I think you may have done that would have been a bit much was immediately volunteering and presenting the pictures and videos of her with the professor that you found on the email. I wouldn't have, to the dad, I wouldn't have done that unless he asked for it. That's the only thing there. But dude, the past is the past. You can't change it. Don't waste your time with regret. Okay, regret will just eat you alive. You can't change the past. You don't have a time machine. You don't have a DeLorean. You can't go back in the past and change it. It is what it is. He says, if you are reading this story to your viewers, I just want to tell them that anyone can betray you, even the people closest to you. Be vigilant when being in relationships. Yes. And if you ever find yourself in my past position to potentially ruin someone, please think if it would be the right move to do. Sometimes it's just better to walk away from someone rather than going nuclear. Thanks, SSM. Well, dude, that's a good story, and I thank you for sharing it because it will help some guys out. But again, like I said just a few moments ago, you were younger. It happened, okay? And the only thing I would have done, being older and being impartial in the situation, I wouldn't have volunteered the graphic stuff to the dad unless he specifically wanted to see it. But other than that, no, you have every right, okay? And so she can get her life together, okay? It's unfortunate that both her parents are gone. She couldn't reconcile with her dad, but the past is the past. Only she has the opportunity to make her life better. Learn from the mistakes she made and the hardships she made and move on. That's all she can do. It's not your job to fix her or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, what if you stayed with this girl and she kept doing this guy all along? What if you got married to her and she kept hooking up with this guy hoping he would break up with, his wife or something like that? Think about that. But anyhow, good for you. I'm glad your life is going well. Again, I hope you have a good marriage with your wife. Just keep an eye out for the red flags and all that. Don't forget that. I'm sure you don't. And go from there. I wish you a happy life. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know the answer to my question in the beginning. Do you think this guy took it too far? Not far enough? Or just right? I'd like to hear about that. And also, guys, you ever come up with a great story that you want to share with me, personal experience like this, something you overcame, just email it over to me. Make sure it's written very well. Paragraphs, don't jam everything together. Good spelling, good punctuation, especially for you foreign guys. And if it's a good one, I'll definitely do it at some point. I get flooded with these things, so I can only do so much so often. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.